let's get your major pick and your one caveat that absolutely needs to be there in the biggest way possible.
Well, the biggest way, that's easy. It's Call of Duty, and that is my big thing. And I want that year of
What?
Call of
Again,
Duty.
explain to. I've heard it, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But why does it have to be Call of Duty for you?
Look, they just spent this money, right? And so one of the things they did with with Bethesda was they said, "All right, cool, because we already have most of these games already in the Microsoft Store, we're just going to drop big chunks of games like at the same time." The problem with that is they just get lost in the shuffle. So you don't really have a chance to say, "Oh, hey, I can go check out these old Elder Scrolls games," or I can go check out this, whatever I haven't played before from Bethesda. You just get a whole bunch of games at the same time, and you just say, well, whatever. Okay, that's nice. And so what I want them to do instead, especially when it comes to multiplayer, they say, let's bring back those like the high quality Call of Duties when Microsoft was marketing it, right? And that was the ascent of Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, 3, Modern Warfare, et cetera, et cetera. All those games that just took off, right? When Xbox was marketing with them in the 360 gen, right? It's something only Xbox can do because the PS3 backwards compatibility doesn't exist on the PlayStation side. So, but Xbox has it, right? You can bring those games back, and instead of having all of them come out at the same time, you do like, here's a 2-week, Call of Duty 2. Here's a 2-week Call of Duty 3, or a 1 month, or whatever you want to do, right? So they can bring back a game, give it some breathing room, and let people start coming back to like, oh, the Call of Duties. They turned on the servers for a couple of them, right? And people flocked to it, right? And that's what I want to see happen. They now own it. Drop it in Game Pass. We're going to bring it in, say, mid-June after the showcase. We're bringing back Call of Duty 2. Servers will be online. Dropped into Game Pass. Come and play Call of Duty 2. July, it starts July 4th weekend. We're bringing back Call of Duty 3, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Just go down that path, right? And that way, you just make it into the year of Call of Duty as Xbox brings back the glory days of Call of Duty, right? And then in November, you're bringing in Call of Duty, Gulf War, right? The new one, direct into Game Pass, right? And and you can continue it from there if you want to, right? Bring the newer ones after that, whatever, fine, right? But I would love to see something like that, where they just take over the Call of Duty will be associated with Xbox. The enthusiasm of the Call of Duty community will be associated with Xbox. And it's just, in fairness, it's just something you can't do on PlayStation, right? You can bring back the glory days of the 360 Call of Duties. You just can't do it on PlayStation because they don't have that backwards compatibility, right? So, boom, you just bring them back. Backwards compatibility. If you own the game, throw the disc in. If not, it's in Game Pass. You buy it, whatever you want, right? But you can now play 2, 3, 4, Black Ops, on and on, right? You just bring back those awesome Call of Duties, let people enjoy that, right? And then you bookmark it at the end. It's going to be the new Call of Duty Gulf War comes. I'm assuming it's going to be like early November as usual, right? Yeah. So that's what. So I totally want to see them do that. There's no reason not to do that. It's the perfect way to bring Call of Duty back, bring that association back, bring the enthusiasm back, bring the community back, because now it's yours, right? So it's like the perfect way to just on ramp back to Xbox, right? And if they can pull it off even better, have like the Series S on massive discount. Hey, you want to come back to Xbox? $200. You got a new Xbox. Get Game Pass. Here you go. You're good to go. Just play, right? There's so much potential there. I hope they take advantage of it. It seems like they understand when they're, since their direct is going to be about Call of Duty, that this is the big deal. This is the game. This is the big deal, right? You paid $70 billion. This is the big deal, right? So I hope that's what they do. So that's like the thing I need them to do is like, make this happen. The on-ramp of Call of Duty needs to happen, and they need to bring that casual community back to saying Call of Duty's home is back on Xbox. That's where you need to come for Call of Duty, right? And Gulf War will probably, I'm assuming, be the next gen only game. So you need to buy a new box. Now's the time,
A $200
Bring that on
Series
ramp.
S on Black Friday. There you go.
And yeah, exactly. And just like have that on ramp, right? And say, hey, you want to play those? We got Series S on discount from now all the way to the end of the year.
Yes.
Buy your Series S, play all these Call of Duties, 120 frames, right? We've got frame boost, right? All that. There you go, right? They absolutely can do this. And it's just in fairness, there's just no option to put it on PlayStation. So tough. It is what it is, right? But they can totally do it here. Take advantage of it. Bring back that time that people, the nostalgia of Call of Duty, that those years where Call of Duty was in its heyday, bring it back, right? So I hope they do that. The one that I want to have happen, that I need to have happen outside of that, right, is the one that I'm looking for. Halo. I want something Halo. I'm sick of no news with Halo. It's been years. I want Halo news where I'm getting something substantial. I know we're saying it could be an offshoot. I want Master Chief. I want the Chief story to continue. So I'm looking forward to what is the next thing. What are you doing with Master Chief? Where is he going next? I want to see what happens. Right? We just kind of left it on a cliffhanger. I I want to see what the next story is. When is it going to come? Is it next gen? I don't care. Just tell me what's going on. I want to see what's going on. I want to see Master Chief come back. It's the quintessential, right? Part of Xbox. Like, bring it. Like, I want to see that come back. If you're gonna show me Gears, if you can show me Halo, Forza, Call of Duty, I mean, on top of everything else, oh my god, what a show!
It'd be the show of shows. And I agree, it would be the year of reality more so than the year of dreams, because all of these games will be a reality and they will be going into Xbox Game Pass. And yep, I love it. One Bad Mother, let's get your major pick and your caveat, if you will, of maybe your secondary pick.
All right, good. Well, I'm happy nobody took mine this time, even though Halo is my favorite IP of all time. I feel like I'm waiting. I feel like I'm going to be waiting a little bit longer on that. But so for me, the number one, and it's kind of interesting because it's not an IP that I have a lot of fondness of historically, and that's Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark Zero I was really excited about that on the Xbox 360. Was probably one of the most disappointing games I've ever been hyped about in my life. That thing was a complete bomb. And I was not into the N64 shooters. I was a PC
You didn't.
gamer.
It wasn't that bad, right? It was okay.
The
Did you play the other one,
multiplayer,
Cameo? Did you
the
play that one?
no,
Cameo was amazing.
I
barely,
liked it.
barely.
I liked
Yeah.
Cameo. I thought it was better.
Well, I thought that I didn't get into the Perfect Dark on the N64 because at that time, even though I did have an N64, I was playing shooters on the PC. And when you compared
Oh,
Half-Life to Perfect Dark, you're like, this is like I'm stepping back into time, in terms of controls and everything else. But I will say though, the one thing that's always exciting me about the franchise is the idea of it. The reason, we know the Perfect Dark was a spiritual successor to the GoldenEye and the N64, and just the idea of female James Bond in a sci-fi cyberpunk setting, like the idea of it and all the different things you can do to introduce like a combination of stealth and gadgets and just like navigating through the world. And I think there's so many different things you can do with that. And I do remember, because I know I have some friends that were huge fans of the OG, that in the OG they tried some really interesting things with like setting up with like different scenarios and how the AI would act and things like that. And so I can see that being the type of game that maybe where Microsoft maybe will experiment with AI or something. So that's the one that I need to see. I'm not into, I can't necessarily predict it's going to be the best thing, but it's the one that I'm most curious and most interested in because of the potential on paper. And then my caveat would be, and I'm surprised nobody mentioned this yet, is Fallout. And where I would go with Fallout is Fallout 1 and 2 were actually, along with Baldur's Gate, the originals on PC were my first games that got me into Western RPGs. Top down, today probably doesn't hold up in a lot of ways, but the idea of it back then was really great. And when you think of today with like how Baldur's Gates kind of brought back in some of the interest in isometric games, and it's actually still in the top 40 or 30 on the Xbox console, which is kind of interesting. It's way up there in Steam. And Microsoft has a great team for it. inXile has 2 teams. One of them is working on Clockwork. We know it's a AAA team. The other team was the one that worked on Wasteland 3, and I beat that. I put well over 100 hours into that one. It is one of the most underrated RPGs I thought of last generation. Really great in terms of the writing, the choices, and things like that. And I think that team could do an excellent job remaking the originals. And then obviously I expect them to probably talk a little bit about Fallout 76 DLC, and because it's such a big thing right now, Fallout. And then the final thing is, I think you could just announce it. Just come out and just announce we're going to do a remake of Fallout 3. Just, you don't even have to have much on it.
If they don't bring it with them. Maybe they
could drop
stage
remakes,
and,
right?
And they drop the remake of 3. That
Oblivion.
Would, I mean,
Fallout
now
3.
Oblivion and that would be just epic. I mean, those are all great picks. Look, folks, here's the thing: Banjo-Kazooie, until either I'm still here and decrepit and I can't play, I don't understand how we've gotten this far in gaming where we don't have one. I understand that there's a demographic of youth that don't care. They want their Fortnites. I've always said that it's really odd to me as a fan that Banjo-Kazooie had this ginormous fervor when it was announced, and they are currently available in Smash Brothers, which to great success, and Nintendo was the last time we got anything Banjo-Kazooie. I don't want them to reinvent the wheel. I understand Rare doesn't want to do it, and I don't want to force Rare to do it. There are ways to go about doing a remake of the original. The work is there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can literally pull what they did with Spyro. The Spyro Remastered Trilogy was brilliant, right? The Crash Remake Trilogy was absolutely astoundingly good. And obviously, we know Toys for Bob is working with Microsoft in some form or fashion. Maybe we don't get it next year. Maybe we don't get it until 2026. Who knows? But let us know that there is something happening with this old IP. The second one for me, and again, I'm a fighting game guy. I have been for years. We know that their Killer Instinct 2 is in development. It's a big one. It's going to be the best version of Killer Instinct we've ever played. One of the original devs are working on it. That's not Rare, which is great. I forgot the studio's name. Why can't I think of the studio's name that's working on it? They just signed up with Microsoft again. Help me out, chat. Anybody on the panel? I don't remember.
Iron Galaxy.
Iron Galaxy.
Maybe? Oh, yeah,
That's it. Yeah, Iron Galaxy. Yep. I don't know why I couldn't remember. That's crazy. That team gave us seasons 2 and 3, right? And they did an amazing job. And just like Mortal Kombat, it has the ability to bring in guest characters from around the globe. But more importantly, Xbox has such an array of characters. You can bring Ghost from Call of Duty as a fighter. You can bring Joanna Dark, would make a great fighter in that ring. You can turn around and bring the power armor, somebody wearing it as a fighter. It's limitless what you can do.